What were some various different things that you learnt from the weekend?
I guess we probably played Sydney in conditions that favoured Sydney and conditions that historically they've played in really well, and for us to match them at that game and beat them at it ultimately gives belief to this group that sort of anything's possible at the moment.
The Bulldogs, that's another challenge in Melbourne, but given that they've just come off beating Richmond, that's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it just sums up the season at the moment. I mean, anyone on any day can beat any team, and it's a really even comp at the moment. So I think it shows if you're not on, you get beaten. It's pretty simple at the moment.
The last 2 weeks you've played, like Gold Coast and Sydney, they like playing contested footy, they like it in tight. Dogs like to probably possess it a bit more, and like, what do you see the different challenges that they'll throw at you?
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks we looked at it in that way, like it was 2 weeks of contested footy and real tough footy, and we were up to that challenge, and now we sort of looked at the Dogs who, do play probably a high handball game and like to keep the footy, and they post some big numbers through the midfield. So for us, that's the challenge. The conditions in Ballarat, we'll wait and see what that sort of throws up for us. It could be wet, could be cold. So if it is like that, then we'll just adapt to what happens, and I think pressure on the footy is going to be the way that we win the game.
After sort of it started the Crows and then Gold Coast and now here, do you sort of feel like this is home now?
Yeah, I guess it's only been 3 months, 4 months that I've been here, 5 months, but it does start to feel like home pretty quickly. It's a really good group. It's still a good young group, and I guess there's not a lot of people that are from Brisbane, so everyone sort of gels together pretty well coming from interstate, and it's just a really good family group. I think a lot of clubs are trying to build that family culture now to keep players and retain players, and I think Brisbane's got the balance really, really good at the moment.
You've sort of created a good spot for yourself now in the midfield. You feel like you're now entrenched in the side?
Yeah, I've probably started really well and then had a couple of quiet weeks and sort of put that upon myself to get back to that pre-season form. And yeah, over the last couple of weeks, I think it's not just individually. I think as a group we've had a really even spread over the last couple of weeks. There's been no one that's sort of standing out. It's just been sort of 6 or 7 guys that go through there, all playing their role and sort of having that 20 to 30 possession mark with everyone. And I think that's the way we see probably winning games and playing our best footy.
It's a milestone for you this weekend. Well, what does it mean to you, considering you've come through a couple of clubs and you've probably started a bit, you had to wait your turn a bit longer than most other players?
Yeah, I guess it took me a fair while to crack into Adelaide's side, and I sort of worked really hard to get to that point, and then ended up leaving. That'll be fine, Jason.
Sorry.
Then ended up leaving, and it's been a tough road. I've had a lot of senior coaches. I think about 10 or 11 across the board. But I think in all different ways I've been affected by, in good ways, all the different clubs, and I guess it's been a long journey, but I sort of wouldn't have it any other way. I guess you can throw that cliche out there. I've met a lot of different people. I've made a lot of different friends through inside and outside footy, and travelled to 3 different cities now, and yeah, it's been a journey, but yeah, it's exciting to get there.
Is there a particular aspect of the Brisbane club that stands out since you've been here?
I think that, I mentioned it before, that family sort of aspect. I think with Fags, he brings that father figure to the club. He's really welcoming. He's not all about footy. It's a really good balance between sort of work and life balance, and he gets that. I think that's probably the toughest thing these days with how footy's tracking, how involved everyone is with the media and the public and the scrutiny you get. He sort of understands that it's not all about footy, and if you get both things right, I think it shows on the field how well you play, and I think that family aspect this club's got it sort of really stands out.
Did you have the belief in yourself even early in your career, despite having to wait so long to get a crack at it?
Yeah, I guess that was probably one thing I struggled with the most early days. Probably my first 2 to 3 years was like, because I didn't play, I was wondering whether I was good enough or not. But credit to Adelaide, they sort of stuck with me for a long time and gave me that opportunity to show that I was good enough. And yeah, I probably can't thank them enough for giving me the opportunity to play AFL. They probably picked me pretty late off I didn't play a lot of junior footy. I was probably a bit more focused on cricket early days, and yeah, for them to give me that opportunity when I didn't expect to get drafted at all was yeah, it's a credit to them, and their sort of development probably got me to where I was as a footballer, and yeah, I still credit them highly.
Do you see the same with your brother at the moment, a little bit?
Yeah, I do see a bit of myself in him. He's playing some really good footy at NEFL level, but I think the way we're going at the moment, it's really hard to crack into. There's a lot of guys in the same position, and they're 5-0, so it just shows how strong our list is at the moment, and we probably haven't had that previously, especially here. And yeah, there's guys that are biding their time, and it's going to be tough. I've been through it, so I can certainly help him, but yeah, for him it's just, you've got to keep chipping away, and when your opportunity does come, and for most people it comes, you just got to take it.
Jarryd, you played at Ballarat last year. What are you expecting this weekend?
Yeah, I played at Ballarat last year and probably had the worst game of my career. So yeah, I'm looking to make up for that. It's certainly a tough place to play footy. I've played junior footy there as well for TAC Cup, and yeah, I guess you sort of wait to see what the weather throws up. That's probably the main factor. It could be snowing, it could be sunny, it could be hailing. So I guess the boys will we'll get there on Friday, and I think we'll probably train at the ground if we can and get a feel for what it's going to be like. But yeah, it's just going to be one of those games that when you rock up, I think it's about 1:40, anything could be there, so we'll see how we go.